The door slammed behind me, hard enough to rattle the glass. Her words were still echoing in my head. Get out. Don't come back until you've reflected. I looked at her once, her sharp suit, her cold eyes, her sister standing smugly in the corner like a vulture circling fresh kill. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I walked out with nothing but silence. 3 weeks later, I came back. She expected repentance, tears, a man crawling. Instead, I handed her divorce papers. That was when her sister lost it. It didn't start that night. It started the day I married her. She was the empire, the CEO, the woman people whispered about in boardrooms, sharp, untouchable. And I was the man she chose. Not for my money, I had none. Not for my power, I had little. She said she chose me for my steadiness, my honesty. For a time, I believed her. For a time, we were happy. Until her sister moved in. The signs were small at first. Her sister lingering too long in conversations, twisting words, smirking when I walked away. Subtle comments about how lucky I was to be with her. I brushed them off. Family meddling, nothing more. But then my wife's questions began. Sharp, loaded. Where were you last night? Why is your phone locked? Questions that weren't hers. They were fed to her, whispered in her ear by someone who wanted me gone. It all snapped the night she threw me out. She didn't show me proof. She didn't need to. Her sister's lies were enough. I should have been broken. Instead, I grew sharper. Because betrayal is a gift if you know how to use it. In those 3 weeks, I didn't reflect on what I'd done wrong. I reflected on what they'd underestimated. They thought I was powerless. They forgot I was observant, patient, and I knew where the cracks in their empire ran deepest. Step 1 was the lawyer. Quiet, efficient. I didn't just file for divorce. I positioned it for maximum damage. See, my wife was the face of her company. But I knew the truth. Her wealth was tangled with personal liability. A scandal, a divorce, any hint of instability, and investors would circle like sharks. Step 2 was the sister. I'd kept records, screenshots, late-night texts she thought I never saw. Suggestive, poisonous words that could destroy her reputation and hers. Step 3 was timing. The day I returned wasn't random. It was the morning of her company's quarterly meeting. Cameras, shareholders, press waiting like wolves. She greeted me in her office, stiff and rehearsed, expecting contrition. Her sister stood behind her, arms folded, eyes daring me to grovel. "Have you reflected?" my wife asked, her voice dripping superiority. "Yes," I said, calm, steady. I slid the folder across her desk. "And I've decided." She opened it. Divorce papers. Clean, precise. Her signature was the only thing missing. The air cracked. Her sister leaned forward, hissing, "You ungrateful!" "Careful," I cut in. "You don't want me to share what I have on you. Screenshots travel fast." Her smirk vanished. My wife looked from me to her sister, confusion dawning into horror. The sister tried to recover, stammering excuses, but the seed was already planted. I watched it bloom across her face. The realization that the woman she trusted had manipulated her, driven me out, poisoned her marriage. I didn't shout. I didn't gloat. I just let the silence stretch until it strangled them both. Finally, I stood. "You wanted me gone. Congratulations! But when the press asks why your husband left on the morning of your big meeting, I wonder, will you tell them the truth, or will you let them guess?" Her hand trembled on the papers. Her empire was built on the illusion of control, and in that moment, she had none. The sister broke first. She snapped, yelling, swearing, blaming me. But every word she spat only made her guilt more obvious. My wife's face hardened, eyes cutting toward her like knives. That was my real revenge. Not the divorce, not the freedom. It was the fracture between them. The sister who thought she'd won was suddenly exposed, cornered, powerless. By the time I walked out, they weren't allies anymore. They were enemies, turning on each other, exactly as I'd planned. The divorce was quick, clean. I walked away with more than I expected, more than she ever wanted to give. Not because I demanded, but because she was desperate to quiet the storm, desperate to keep her empire intact. And her sister? She disappeared. From the board, from the mansion, from her life. I had removed her without lifting a finger. Just truth, revealed at the right time. Do I regret it? No. She betrayed me the moment she believed a lie over the man who stood beside her. Her sister betrayed me the moment she opened her mouth. They thought I'd reflect on my mistakes. Instead, I reflected on theirs, and I made sure they paid for every one. So when people ask why I left a CEO, why I walked away,